And here we are. Hello everyone, and welcome to the release event for version 23 of the Google Ads API. I'm Mattia Tommasone. You may have seen me on YouTube and on the previous release event for version 22. And I have Corey here with me. Do you want to introduce yourself, sir?
Sure. Hey, everybody. My name's Corey Lucino. I am a developer relations engineer alongside Mattia. Very much looking forward to seeing how many folks join us today.
Yeah, same. So yeah, I think we'll just wait for a couple minutes for, people to trickle in and see, just wait a bit until we get started. Right now I see not too many people on Discord, let's put it that way.
We'll give it just a little bit.
Yeah. Just in the meantime.
I just sent out one more reminder on the announcements channel as well.
Perfect. So while we're here, what's the weather like where you are?
Is that a question to me or to everyone else?
Well,
to me?
It's just me and you so far.
You know what? It's cold. It's really cold here. We apparently in the New York City area, it's supposed to be colder than Alaska is.
Really?
This week. We're going to get wind chills of minus 15 Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in Celsius, but
I have no idea.
really cold.
That's both.
How is it in Italy?
Well, it is cold, but it's acceptably cold. It's in the low, I think 7 or 8 Celsius. It's acceptably cold. Definitely not freezing anymore. It was a couple weeks ago. But I see hints of spring coming through.
Awesome.
Well, it's 05, but I think we can just get started. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Let's get started. So, let me get my slides. So, welcome again to the release event for version 23 of the Google Ads API. It just came out yesterday, and we as the developer relations team are super happy about it. And we just wanted to show off basically what we like the most about this release and what we think you will like the most. So first of all, I have a bit of housekeeping to make. And I need to let you know that you may be aware of this because we publish a blog post on this and it's also in the guides on our website, but we recently changed the release schedule of the API. So this one is the first release of 2026. And it's going to be the first of many. In the past, we've been doing quarterly releases, both for major and minor releases, but we are actually increasing the frequency of our releases. So we are going to be making monthly releases instead of quarterly, and we are still going to be making major releases on a quarterly basis, which means that V23, which just came out, is a major release, and we're going to be having V24 in Q2, and then V25 in Q3 and so on. But in the meantime, we'll also have minor releases in between that can have new features. So this means that if you want to upgrade to a major version, it may have breaking changes, because that's the whole concept of a major release. But in the meantime, you will still get new features between each major release. So between now and Q2, you will have two minor releases, V23.1 and V23.2, where we will be introducing new features, and you will be having access to these without having to upgrade to a major release. So the idea behind this is to make the upgrade process and the process of getting new features in the API as easy as possible, and for you to be able to access the new features as soon as they come out, with hopefully as low effort as possible. Now, I can see you as developer asking, but what about the sunset schedule? We know that the fact that we also sunset versions of the API requires a bit of an effort on your end as developers, because you have to migrate away from versions that are being sunset. And the good news about this is that the sunset schedule is not going to change. So we are increasing the frequency with which you get new features, but we are not increasing the frequency of your mandatory upgrades for sunset versions. So the lifespan of each major version of the API is still going to be about a year or so, which means that you can still upgrade now and you can be sure that the version you're on is going to stay live for about a year or so. Of course, if you want to upgrade sooner than that, you're more than welcome to do so, because you will also get new features. But if your bandwidth doesn't allow for frequent upgrades, you can still keep the same sunset schedule that we always had. So the whole idea of this is you get new features frequently, but you don't have to perform mandatory upgrades frequently. You can still keep upgrading at your own pace. So this was the housekeeping and the whole things going on with the API releases. But let's get deep into what is actually into V23, what was released yesterday. So the first feature I'd like to highlight is one that I actually was talking about with one of the developers I work with. So it is interesting because one of the main pain points that we hear from new developers about PMax campaigns is not being able to actually look into what's happening with a campaign, or not having enough granularity, enough segmentation in your reporting. So we actually took action upon this, and we released a new feature that allows you to get segmentation by ad network type at the asset level. So in the asset group asset resource, you will have a new segment called ad network type, and it will have more granularity than it used to. So in the past, what you would get when segmenting with the ad network type on the asset group asset resource was oftentimes just mixed as a value for the ad network type. Now we are increasing the granularity, and what you will be getting is, for instance, Gmail or display or search. So you will be getting data for the exact advertising surface that your asset were delivering impressions on. And I actually got a comment about one of the developers I work with from them about this, and what they told me is that this is basically fixing a whole epic of their sprints just with upgrading to this release. So I'm really excited about this, and I can feel the excitement in the developers I work with, and I really hope it gets you excited as well. Next, this is also a feature I'm excited about for several reasons. The first one is a personal one. I was personally involved with the development of this feature, so I'm really happy to see this landing in V23. But also, one of the developers I work with was asking about this, and I'm super happy to deliver this to these developers. And also, again, this specific feature was requested on Discord, and I remember it was like a couple weeks ago that we had a message on Discord saying, hey, are you going to release companion banners? Are there any plans to release companion banner support for demand gen campaigns? And I knew it was going to come in V23, but I just didn't want to spoil it. So I said, yeah, there may be some plans for a future release. Well, here it is. So as you may know, when you have an ad delivering on YouTube, you not only have the video asset delivering the video ad, but you can also have a companion banner next to the video player that gives you even more control on what the whole screen looks like. And this is exactly what companion banners for demand gen campaigns do. So you can add an image asset to your demand gen video responsive ad info object, which acts as the companion banner, and you can control that in the API. As I said, it was a highly requested feature, and it's now live in V23, so super happy about this. Next, speaking of features that I'm happy to see landing and that I really hope you will be happy to see landing too, we have the product image URL for shopping products. So if you're somewhat familiar with what the Google Ads front end does, when you look at the metrics for products in shopping ads, you see a small preview image of what the product looks like in shopping ads. That was not feasible in the API up until V22 because we didn't expose the image URL for the shopping products. Right now, instead, wow, it's a complex number to say. With V23, you can also preview the image of your shopping products by using the new property product image URI in the shopping product resource. So when you build your interface that does reporting, for instance, on a product level, you can also showcase the preview images of your product. Next, as I was saying before about when I was talking about major and minor releases, V23 is a major release, which means that as every other major release, it has some breaking changes that you need to be aware of when you upgrade. So the biggest one probably is that we renamed the field, actually two fields, in the campaign resource from start date and end date to start date time and end date time. Now, this means that the value that you set is also having to be changed, because instead of just passing the date, you can also set the time. Now, this is a bit tricky. You have to be aware, which is why I put the warning sign on the slides. When you set the start date or the end date of a campaign and you rename the field that you're passing to the API, it's not necessarily true that you can also set whatever start or end time you like. Not all campaign types support setting a specific start or end time. So in most cases, actually, what you will be having to do is not just to change the name of the field that you use, but also to set midnight as a start time and 1 second before midnight, so 23:59:59 as the end time. Again, this is because not all the campaign types support setting a start and end time. If you're using a campaign type that does, you can set whatever time you like. But in case you're using a campaign type that doesn't support this yet, say for instance PMax, you will just have to set midnight and 1 second before midnight as the start and the end time. Last feature I want to talk about is one that we actually anticipated with a blog post a few months ago. So hopefully this doesn't come as a surprise, but starting from yesterday, actually, you can no longer create call-only ads with the API. Any existing call-only ad that you have is still going to be serving, but you cannot just create any new ones. And this is because call-only ads are actually being deprecated, and you are highly encouraged to migrate to using responsive search ads with call assets. They perform exactly the same behavior, but they are more well-suited for future improvements that we're going to make. So if you are still using call-only ads, we really encourage you to migrate to RSAs with call assets. Otherwise, just be aware that you are no longer able to create them. final point that I want to talk about is that, as you know, I mean, if you're on Discord, you already know about this, but I just want to remind you that we have a survey on Discord, and generally we are really eager to hear your thoughts about the API and about how we can make it better and about how we can help you better. So I think you've heard me say this already, but the way we see ourselves as the DevRel team is basically as a bridge between the engineering team building the API and you, our developer community, building applications on top of the API. So our role is exactly to listen to what you need from the API and to help you make the best of it as you can. So talk to us, let us know what you think, let us know how we can do better what we do. There's a survey, there is the chat on Discord, there is comments on YouTube. There is plenty of ways to reach out to us, and we are always listening. Now, without further ado, I think I can summon Corey back again for any questions. Hello again, sir.
Hey, hello. Yeah, so it looks like the only question we have as of this point in time is which campaigns support the setting of the time for end and start. And if we don't have that information right now, we can put it on docs. But would you happen to know that off the top of your head, Mattia?
I actually do, because I actually also happen to be the one who worked on this feature. So
right.
we are actually lucky about this. So for the time being, all of the existing campaign types don't support setting a specific start and end time. So for the time being, you just have to set midnight and 1 second before midnight for every campaign types. We are going to be releasing support for setting specific start and end times throughout the year for some campaign types. I don't have details on this, but for the time being, all of the campaign types that are available don't support setting specific start and end times. Do we have any other questions?
Awesome. It looks like we have one more question here that just rolled in. When will this be available in editor? I don't know that we know that information. Mattia, do you?
I don't.
Okay.
I will just say that the editor is kind of like outside of my jurisdiction, so I don't know much about it.
Got it. Yeah, we can try to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out to the folks who do manage editor internally and see if there's anything that they can put out there. But I will definitely I'll definitely track that down. Another question that came in was, is the 23rd of every month going to be locked for major releases? That's actually a really good question, because I think there's two parts about that we want to clarify. One being that it's not a major release every month, right? And the second one being that the date is not locked as the 23rd. Mm-hmm. So the way we're currently structured, and Mattia, please correct me if I'm wrong, but is that we are doing a major release followed by a series of minor releases, and our goal is to have 4 major releases in a year.
Yeah.
So the idea would be that you should expect to see a major release once per quarter, basically.
Yeah, and to add to that, I would say that generally speaking, we are going to be doing 2 minor releases between each set of major releases, and we generally do that. So that means that if we're doing a major release a quarter and we have 2 minor releases in between, it's roughly a minor release a month. It's going to be towards the end of the month, and as a general rule of thumb, don't take this for granted, but we like, as a team, to do releases on Wednesdays. So it's not a set date, but it's kind of an indication. I think you could at least expect minor releases to show up towards the end of the month and likely on a Wednesday.
Any other questions for us?
I saw a question asking whether this event was going to be recorded, and the answer is yes, because we're also live on YouTube, so you will be able to access the recording on YouTube as well.
Yeah, for folks that are watching this on YouTube, I'll put the link to our Discord in the comments. Please feel free to join. And I'll also put that as in the description of the recorded video. We do a lot in Discord. We do a lot of engagement there. So please definitely feel free to join. And for folks that are watching this on Discord, we plan on doing a lot more with our YouTube channel. So if you're not following it already, it's the Google Ads Developers channel. I did just link it above in the Discord chat. So please feel free to also subscribe to the YouTube channel.
And if I may add, because like, given that I'm one of the people more involved, and as just like you, one of the people more involved with the YouTube channel in our team, and I already have a couple of videos that I'm working on. If you have any topics that seem, hard to grasp with the documentation and you think may be worth us making a video about, just let us know. I'm always open to suggestions.
Awesome. And I did just paste the Discord link into the YouTube chat as well for anyone that wants it there.
Yay, cross-posting. All right. Do we have any other questions piped up? Doesn't seem like. Any other last-minute questions? Any shout-outs?
All right.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for coming here, for showing up, for questions, for any sort of feedback. As they say, feedback is a gift. I'm always happy for feedback.
Oh, we did just get a really quick last-minute one in. Where can we ask questions about the Merchant Center API? I believe, and Mattia, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the best place to do that would be either directly to shopping support or through any forms that are available on their dev site.
Yeah.
I will paste that in the chat, the link.
Yep. I agree. All right. Well, if we don't have any more questions, I think we can just let everyone on Discord and YouTube go on with the rest of their days.
Oh, sorry, we do have one more. One more came in on YouTube last minute. AI ads. So AI ads, I'm guessing this means ads for like AI responses, or this might mean AI generative in ads. Can you please clarify for us?
Where is that? I can't see it.
It's on YouTube.
Oh, okay. I missed it. Both. So, do you want to say something about a generative AI ads, like generative assets or things like that? I think we are thinking about it. Let's put it that way.
Give me 1 second. I'm having an audio issue here.
Well, in any case, I see the specific question being about the roadmap for AI ads. As far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, we don't have a definitive roadmap yet about this. I also see a comment about a new protocol. I think, yeah, exactly. It says it's about commerce. So I think it's about UCP, the new AI commerce protocol that we recently announced. As far as I know, there are no definite plans about it showing up in the ads API, for instance. It may just be the case that I don't know about any plans. But yeah, we don't have a timeline for anything like that yet. Things may change though. As you know, the AI space is a very fast changing space, so we may have news soon. I just don't know about any yet.
Okay, that looks like all the questions that rolled in. So I think thank you to everybody. Really appreciate it.
Wait,
thank you, Mattia, for hosting this.
There is a question about Maps ads for business profile. As far as I know, we already support that in the API. We have business profile integration, and we also support targeting maps through demand gen, for instance. So it should already be there, as far as I know. So yeah, I guess that was the last question we had. Any other?
All right. Well, thank you all so much for coming. Really
Great.
appreciate it. We'll be definitely be doing this on other releases that are coming up soon.
Yep. And as usual, all feedback is welcome. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good day.